What's up and welcome back to my YouTube, or welcome back to the podcast if you're listening on the podcast. I'm back sooner than I thought. I woke up feeling like I've been reborn overnight. It's literally the craziest feeling ever, and I've got so many exciting things to share with you today. So as a basic overview, for the last 4 months, I've kind of taken a step back in my business. Like, I've still been posting here and there, or just like talking about other things or sharing bits and bobs about my journey, but not like really honing in on like creating new offers and things like that, because I've been doing a lot of work internally and really getting to know myself and leveling up and just doing a lot of inner deep personal development work. And I had this idea to create a new free product for my community, and I wanted to do like a glow up guide, because that's a complete embodiment. Like, I don't want to just talk about food. That's what I realized a little while ago. So yesterday I was listening to a podcast from Beck Stewart, and she was doing a talk about social media trends for 2024, like what to expect, how to grow your business and things like that. And she was basically saying, like, we don't need to niche down anymore. We can have sub niches as long as we're giving the same message or having the same voice towards the same kind of things. But we don't need to only talk about one thing, because the world is changing. We're a personality, we're not like one topic. So I'd always feel like that whenever I'd put out a YouTube video. I'd like still do a few about plant-based nutrition and food and things like that, but then every time I'd want to talk about something else, I'm thinking, oh my god, it's not on topic and people won't know what to come to me for because it's all over the place. And that episode just gave me a lot of clarity on where I want to head with everything and what I want to talk about, because health to me isn't just what you put in your mouth. It's what you're filling your mind with. It's who you're hanging out with. It's your environment. It's your views on things, because that is your like energetic frequency, and our beliefs create our reality. So I really want to dive into so many more of those topics and share with you as well. So yesterday, I just got back from New Zealand and had an incredible time at the festival over there, and then sat down and finally put my head to it and embodied a bit of that masculine energy. That's another interesting thing, is like, I'm all about that feminine energy, and I'd stepped so much into it last year, like, oh, just do what you feel like on the day, blah, 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 and like see how you feel and honor your body. And I heard another interesting podcast talk about why it's so important to have balance, because we don't want to be just in our masculine, like just doing all the time and not listen to any of our body's signals. And that's a little bit why I'm also against like meal plans with calories and macros, getting you to eat the exact same amount every single day. When women have a cycle, we might be doing a leg day, we might be resting, we might just need more fuel or less fuel. Like, I'm all about embodying that, but we need the aligned action, and we need the aligned action to get there. We can't just be in our feminine all of the time. So it's a balance between the both. So I put my head down to paper. Well, I've spent 15 hours straight on my computer yesterday and got through a huge chunk of my emails and everything like that. And I finished my ebook, which is the Feminine Frequency Glow Up Guide. It is the best thing I've ever created. I cannot believe I even did graphic design like that. Like, I don't know where this came from. It's so different to anything I've ever put out into the world. All the design, all the colors, like the style, I've never made anything like that before. And I woke up almost crying, just so happy. And while I was doing that, I stumbled across a bunch of like images, and I started putting together this mood board, because I've been wanting to rebrand like the graphics in my business for a while, like my YouTube banner, my website banner, the YouTube intro and things like that. But every time I try to do it, because I wanted some brighter colors, it just didn't look right. I just couldn't do it. But I hadn't come out of everything on the other side yet. And last night I stumbled across these beautiful things, and this is exactly how I feel on the inside. And I've reached that stage now where I'm really embodying what makes me and my brand and my approach unique. So even the excitement I was getting, I was like, there's this little glowing butterfly symbol, and it's the same. I wear these butterfly clips every day of my life, and my friend got me these, and I was like, it kind of reminds me of when I was 3, but for some reason I just like really like them. And I found like this little glowing butterfly, and I was like, look at the little colourful DJ symbols, and look at the little glowing hearts, and I was just getting so excited putting it together. So I'm going to have a play around and get some new branding up, a bit of a revamp. And for the ebook, you can head to the description below, and I'll put the link in there as well, because it is honestly fire. Also, you may have heard in the last video that I'm also on the hunt for somewhere to live. So my best friend is moving over from New Zealand, and we've been best friends since we were 11, like all the way back to intermediate in this small little town. And like, it's pretty hard having your best friend in another country, but she is just going through all these changes as well, like really getting clear on what she wants, like all the traumas that are coming out, working through all the life challenges on a really deep self-aware level. And she's going to move over for a bit, so we're keen to like move in together and just support each other on this next chapter. And yeah, like she, like, I don't know, we just have like skills in different areas. It's one of those ones where you've got like same personalities but different, so we can like support each other. So she'll help me become stronger and help me see where improvements can be made, and then I can teach her things about other areas as well. So the 2024 is going to be off the charts. I'm so excited. I'm really excited for today's topic. I was brainstorming on this piece of paper the other day. So I want to chat about the universe has a plan for you, holding faith through adversity. So I feel like I've hit so many walls in my life. I think in about 10 years of adulthood, I've probably lived in about 40 houses. So I feel like every time I get somewhere, like just get a job, just plant my feet, oh, move again. Like it's all I've done for years and years. And yeah, I'm even still going through it now. And then hopefully the next place I can stay there for like a year, so I can like plant my feet. And people always ask me about traveling and stuff, like, oh yeah, you're interested in traveling? And I'm like, I just want to like start my life first, like just get settled. And I'm like in the second half of my 20s. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I have continuously put myself in situations that challenge me, and situations where people may view me as bad, might judge me, might laugh at me, like so many different things. I started 4 businesses by age 24. There's like massive risk factor anytime you do something like that. Anytime you start something new, it's all the time invested, all the things you've got to buy along the way. Like I have been made fun of, I've been laughed at by people, and I'm still here. And I kind of realized that when I was driving to the festival. Like I used to work at a corporate hotel, then I studied holistic nutrition, and then once I fixed all my own digestion and bloating issues through food, I thought, oh my god, I need to teach the world about this. So I studied nutrition and then started my business, and then moved to Oz, and then COVID happened. I had a food truck for a while. I used to do social media content creation for brands. My ex-partner's mum bought the food truck for me, which was meant to be like a lease to buy kind of thing. And then after 6 weeks being live, I was already in the newspaper twice. I just went in for this meeting and thought it would be about like, oh, do you want to add the car onto the loan? Because I didn't have a car. But in the meeting, it's just like, oh, you got 7 days to come up with 22 grand or we sell the whole thing. I'm just here in this country by myself. I can't get any loans from the government. I used all my savings from my car when COVID hit, when I was looking for a job. So I just had to give it up. So what do? You switch. What can I do? Okay, well, I'll do a meal delivery service instead. I used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to finish cooking all my pasta dishes, cut up all the slices, like drive it all around trying to deliver it. And I never charged enough for my food because I was doing like really high quality whole foods. So like, I did not charge enough, but you like learn those lessons along the way. And then got kicked out by the person I love in the middle of the pandemic. The borders to my home country were closed, didn't even have one friend, had no car. Like I've been in some crazy situations, and I've spent months being bedridden, not wanting to get up. So then managed to work my way through that, moved to Gold Coast and like moved to this commune that I thought I'd be at for life. And that turned out to be very weird, but I guess it taught me the same kind of lessons, like taught me to actually stand up for myself when like, yeah, things are going wrong. Like don't just get walked all over, and just like learning how other people put their unresolved trauma onto you. Like when a situation happens, not just taking it at face value, looking at like, okay, well, why are they acting like that? Oh, because this would have happened in their childhood and they haven't been to therapy yet or like learned how to work through it. So it was just like like taught me some very deep things. I thought like, oh my God, how would I ever find someone, any boy slightly interesting again? Because I lost the love of my life and was heartbroken, and then managed to find someone interesting again. So opened my heart, got like put on the biggest pedestal ever, got like shown off to everyone, like, look, this is my girlfriend, like made to feel like a queen. And then driving in the car one day, like 2 weeks before the 1 year anniversary, I want to break up. You're not the one. We're not meant to be together. So then my trauma was doubled because I hadn't even quite healed from the first one. And yeah, I spent the last few months, just spent 4.5 months of my life crying. Like through January, it was so bad. I would cry till 2 o'clock in the morning, having hyperventilating panic attacks 5 nights a week. Like that bad, because I've got a lot of unresolved things from the past, so it stems back to the relationship before, then the childhood as well. So that was deep. And then right before New Zealand, I was like, don't know if I can carry on. Like I just don't have the strength. I don't have the willpower. Like I just need someone to help me get out of the hole. Like it was bad. Then at the festival, did a lot of healing. The day I got back, you got 4 weeks to move out. And I only just got here as well. Just because I can't have a dog long term, not that anything bad has happened, but grateful for, being able to stay here in the interim. But that's enough about the dramas and stuff. I just kind of wanted to give insights into that because I always feel a little bit bad. I feel like people be like, oh my God, why is this thing so negative? Or why are you talking about all that? But no one talks about it online. And it's not a poor me thing. I'm good now. I lean on my friends or Lifeline or phone counselors. I'm about to start back at therapy as well. So I do all that in the moment. I get myself through it. And after writing that ebook with everything I've been diving into in the last few months, and then finding that new branding and actually being this is who I am. And even with the cover of the ebook, I'm literally in lingerie and my butt is out. And I've heard so many times more from a bit of the older generation, oh, you can't be having your modeling on that page because people get offended and people think it's unprofessional. But this is what my best friend has helped me with. That is who I am as a person. I wanted to be a lingerie model ever since I was 16. I love doing photo shoots and doing really sensual images, and it's who I am. So I'm not gonna separate it because I feel like I would have a wall up. I'd only be sharing one part of me and can't completely embody all facets of myself. So even just having that thing, that photo is who I am. Even though some lady might come along and be like, oh my God, how could you be showing something like that? You mustn't know anything about nutrition if you've got a photo like that, because you know what it's like. And after writing that ebook, and I woke up this morning just knowing that I put in so much effort and completely created something out of this world. I feel like I've been reborn overnight. So today we're going to talk about how the universe always has a plan for you, and when you hit those blocks in the road, you're meant to be there. like based on all the things that you've been through in the past and the things you're going to overcome in the future on the way to your goals, you need to overcome these things to get there. So rejection is redirection, even though it's hard to see it in the moment. So the first topic when it comes to this is every situation that you go through is here to shape you and prepare you for a bigger and better life. Even little things that happen in everyday life. So the other day, my flatmate's auntie and uncle were over as I got home from work, and they were like, oh, we want to have a business meeting with you for a money-making opportunity. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was kind of like putting my dinner away or something. And they said, can we meet you on Saturday at 9 o'clock? So I'm like, okay, cool. And I thought it would be about like a nutrition consult, or maybe they're like making a health cafe and want to talk to me about something like a business opportunity. And then the day before, I had like a lot going on in the week. And the day before I was like, hey, do you mind just telling me what it's about, just so I can make sure it's worthy of my time? And they were like, oh yeah, we'll just sit with you for 10 minutes and then we'll know like after that. So I'm like, okay, random, but all good. So I ended up meeting them at the cafe down the road, and then they were asking me for ages, like, oh, what are your goals in life? Where are you currently? Like, what do your parents do for work? And like asking me all these questions, and yeah, where do you see yourself in the future? How do you plan on getting there? Blah, blah, blah. So I was chatting to them for like 40 minutes about that first. And then when it comes to get started to come into it, get out of this bit of paper, start writing down. I know the second the tone of voice changed, start drawing out an MLM. And I thought because of their age, like I forgot that people are still doing MLMs. Like I was like, why the F did I say yes to this without actually getting an idea on what it's about? Like this is a complete waste of my time. And then she was talking for ages, like going through all these maths equations, like you will get this and then they get 30% and then blah, blah, blah. And then in 1 month, you'll be making $7,500. And I was like, yeah, after you sign up all those 10 people. And she's like, yeah. And she was basically saying like, it's no risk. And yeah, like you don't have to do any work. And it just like flows in and you'll be so rich and you'll be able to buy your property. And like, it really got to me. And then for the first time ever, usually I'm the kind of person that would be like, oh yeah, this sounds so good, like I'll think about it overnight, and then I'll just like text them the next day because I'd be too scared to say it in person. But for the first time in my life, I actually said, like I kind of interrupted as soon as there was a spare moment, after like 20 minutes of talking. So I'd been there an hour, and I was like, I don't think this is the right kind of thing that I'm looking for. And they're like, oh, why is that? I'm just not interested in this business model. Oh, well, like, do you have a way of like getting to your goals? Yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. She's like, okay, well, like, what about your friends and family and stuff? Like, do they have ways of getting to what they want to do? And I'm like, yeah, everyone's got a plan, which is a true thing. And then, yeah, managed to finish the meeting, and walking back to the house, I thought, actually, it's not a waste of time, because at least, yeah, that showed me that I can use my voice for once and actually say what I think, still in a nice way, but instead of like pretending and beating around the bush. And then number two, just a reminder, like, don't say yes to a meeting for an hour of your time when you don't know what it's about. I just assumed it was going to be about something a lot different to that. And yeah, I just had like an experience yesterday as well where it was when I was writing the ebook, I was just thinking about like, yeah, how much more protective we need to be over our time. Like if someone asks for something, we don't need to give it straight away. If we're in a good mood, or if we've got nothing else on, or we don't mind it, like we can, but we need to put our energy into ourselves. Like I need to be working on my business, and because I was like deep in the work of business, even though I'm working it from home that day, I'm working. So I shouldn't just drop anything and like, yeah, use all my gas to drive someone somewhere just like to be nice. Like it's okay to do things here and there, but then if you're saying yes to like every single thing, or like going out of your way for people for like nothing in return, like we just need to be more protective over our time. So even, yeah, like whatever situation you're going through is preparing you for something, and it's a test. So even if it's like little minute things that pop up during the day, it's how you handle that situation, it's how you respond to it, and it's what you take from it for the future. Oh my God, that whole clip like zoomed in with my eyes cut off. The joys of trying to film from an iPhone when you can't see the screen. So it must have gotten knocked, so sorry about that. Once I get to my new house, I think I will start investing in some more equipment because yeah, it will make things a lot easier. The next topic is career changes and why things don't go to waste if you change your mind. So like I did a degree in hotel management and that was 3.5 years. It was probably like 50 grand. So even though I don't even do that anymore, I actually found photos from when I was living the corporate life on my Facebook the other day, which is so crazy to look back on with like how much my personality has changed. But quite a few people do this. They'll like study for something because when you're young, you don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And then if you change your mind, it's easy to think like, oh, like that whole thing has gone to waste and all that money's down the drain and blah, blah, blah. But I needed to do that still to make me who I am. And when I was doing my degree, I was going on all these work placements. I was like very independent. I was traveling around, working in fancy hotels. So having that corporate life and understanding of like those kinds of jobs like really shaped my perception on the world today and showed me what I do want to do. And so many people actually give up on what they want to do because they're just saying like, oh well, this is what I got now, or like they just get comfortable. But you should be like so freaking excited to wake up on Monday morning. And I saw this girl even post on TikTok the other day like, oh, who out here actually enjoys their jobs, because I've been on the dole for 3 months and I finally got a job and now I know why everyone just wants to be on the dole. And yeah, it's fair enough, like yeah, like no one wants to like work as such, but it is possible to find meaningful work. And this is something I'm quite passionate about because it's where we spend our whole lives. So do you actually want to get to 60, 65 and then retire and then be like, oh, I can travel now, when you're like really old? And you give your life force energy to these companies. So I really want to inspire people to choose it wisely. And something that I do that isn't for everyone, but I need a lot of variety. I get very bored if I'm doing like the same thing all the time. So I always just have like several things on the go at once. So at the moment I've got my online holistic nutrition business and do content creation and like the podcast, YouTube, content for brands, and I'm doing online programs and things like that. So that's my main passion. I DJ on the side, so I'll probably have a gig like every 4 to 6 weeks, probably every month at the moment. So I'll like practice here and there during the week and then just go off like one weekend a month for a little trip away, go DJ, have some fun to some music. I got a job at a gym reception and it's kind of like a nightclub gym, and it is honestly really fun. And instead of it just being reception where it's like just paperwork like I used to do in the hotel, it's got a supplement store at the front, and we make protein shakes, so you're like doing paperwork, helping customers, like cleaning the gym, restocking the fridge. Like there's a lot of things to do within the role to keep it really interesting as well. And of course you meet like-minded people, and having a life and I do just casual promo work on the side as well, but having a life like that, like it's harder to get loans or like get accepted for houses, obviously, because you don't just have like a full-time wage because it's coming from different places. But for personal enjoyment, like if something like that is worth it for you, a lot of people don't know that you can kind of create a life like that. You think you just have to work full-time or that's it. But yeah, doing things like that has really, really suited my brain and like kept my spark and passion alive. And even on the gym job, like just talking about how everything is happening for you and like the universe literally has your back. I literally have a degree and certified in holistic nutrition and started all these businesses and all this experience in 5-star hotels and everything. And I could not get a job last year. That gym is the 60th application in like 5 months. And I don't know what it was. I was like applying for coffee club barista drive-through, like couldn't even get a call from them. And like I'm so overqualified for that job. I was applying for things that are like out of my reach that I'd have to grow into as like a positive challenge with like social media marketing for a really big brand and stuff. So yeah, didn't get those either. And just month after month I was getting these emails like, sorry you didn't get the job, sorry you didn't get the job. And I was just like falling deeper and deeper into this like, self-worth hole. Like, why can't I do this? And then my partner broke up with me because, part of the reason because I couldn't get a job. And then moved to Brisbane, and like, I swear it was like my second day here, I was still unpacking. Boom, you got an interview at the gym. Oh, okay. And there was like 3 lots of interviews, and then boom, I got the job. So, and it was the best one out of any of them that I applied for. So I had to not get any of those other ones, even though it was months of mental torture to have to go through the horrible breakup and move here to this house, start over. I was, a bit of realness. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor for 4 months. I only just bought this beautiful bed that's pink, like a queen's bed. And because I kind of stepped back from my business, I used my money on like investing back into my business, paying for my overheads, paying for all my software, because I wasn't really creating anything new or working in the business. So I just used my money on other things that were important, and I literally slept on the ground for 4 months. And I thought, well, you could buy a bed off Marketplace, or you could buy the bed and save up for it, and then when you wake up every day, you're gonna feel like a queen. So it's pink velvet, it's freaking beautiful. Like, every day I hop on it, I'm like, oh my god, I have the bed. Like, it's so luxurious, and it's not even finished. I still need to get like satin sheet. I'm gonna get like either lilac, purple, or pink satin sheets and duvet cover. So it's just gonna be like an actual queen's bed, because why not? Like, I want to wake up every day feeling like that. So I just like pour my money into other things and to keeping my business alive while I was working on myself. And like, going through times like that, it just makes the small moments so much more special. So then if we look at relationships, so we attract relationships based on our childhood and kind of things that we went through as children with the parenting that we received, even if the relationship is unhealthy. So in my first one, it was very unhealthy because none of us knew how to communicate, and we've actually, after years and years of it ending so badly, we've actually reconnected and like had talks on the phone and stuff, and been able to like get on, which is crazy steps that I never thought I would be able to do. But it's been really nice, and it's really helped close that loop and helped with getting closure. And it's been nice just to like talk as friends, because when you're in a relationship, I like, not many people fully connect with you and know you on like a soul level. So that's been really nice. But I said to him as well, like, we were just young. So I grew up in a house with yelling in the house every single day, and he grew up with like worse than that with his. So we've never seen how to communicate before. So it's really cool when you get to that age, and instead of like, once again seeing it at the surface level, like, oh, it was so unhealthy, like we had so many fights. Okay, well, why did you have the fights? Why are you acting like that? Why can't you talk it out? Or like, why do you react in a certain way? And I learned a lot about stonewalling as well. So when one person raises their voice, the other one backs away, so then they get louder and then they back away even more. Like, I learned about all these different things in relationships. And then even when my friends and family would say like, you can't go back this time, you can't go back, I would still go back. But it's because I had to get to the point where, for the first time in my life, I could be like, this is a boundary and I'm not going to accept it. And like, actually find my voice, instead of just like, letting anything happen or taking the blame for every single thing. Like, sometimes relationships allow us to work through that childhood trauma and break our family cycle as well. The final part of this is developing unrecognizable mindset up-leveling. Our thoughts, like, everything you say is true. Even with this moving house thing, it is obviously very stressful when your environment isn't secure. Like, it's really hard to be creative and be like working on big things when you're like house hunting non-stop, and then you're going to move again, then you're going to get sorted again. Like, it really creates a lot of disruption in your life. But I was just saying to myself, like, I could sit here and be like, oh my god, it's so hard. How will I ever find a property that allows a dog if I don't have a full-time job? And the housing market's so crazy. Like, part of me does worry about like being homeless, but I could worry about being homeless, or I could think, well, I had to go through that breakup so I could move to Brisbane, so I could get that job at the gym that I really enjoy and have made some really good contacts, and I'm just really happy to be part of a company like that, and then live in this house and meet these people, and now I have to move on because this isn't where I'm meant to be. Like, I can't really create content here. It's not like my end place, if that makes sense. It was just for the interim. So then my best friend's coming over. So why would the world put me through all that just so I could be homeless? My friend's going to come over. We will find a place. It's going to happen. And then we're going to move into this next chapter and keep up leveling. Like, if all those things happened, it's not going to just crash right now. And even for people where it may crash, I have a friend who is a mum, bloody men, a mum. Her lease ended on the 31st of December. I was like, can they not push it back a week? Like, who wants to move on like New Year's Eve and like the week after Christmas? But she had to move out. She moved in with someone, a man, and on like the second, like 2 days later, he's like, oh, sorry, you got too much baggage. We're not meant to be together either. And she's like literally got 2 kids and 3 or 4 animals, and then like boom, homeless. Like, had to move back in with her mom at age 31 or 32. So like that can happen, but it's obviously like teaching her her own lesson, and then she's going to go through her own thing and she will find a place. You're not going to stay there forever. It's going to happen. You just have to know in your head, like, because your thoughts create your reality. Another super interesting topic that I go into a little bit in my ebook is the fear of success. So say if you really want this goal, what negative things may happen if you were to achieve it? Because if we subconsciously, we want something, but a part of our brain thinks like, oh, well, if I get more social media followers, I'm going to get more hate and online projections to deal with. And if I get more money, then maybe my friends or family will be asking me for loans or expecting like a cut from my hard work. Or if I have more success in my business or career, I will have less time for self-care and downtime and see my friends, so I'll be really busy and stressed out. So those are the 3 that I thought of off the top of my head that are probably common things for people. So the last couple times I've received a negative comment online, I've been happy about it, to be honest. Because if you can't celebrate one, like if one negative comment crushes you, the world isn't going to give you more followers and more negative comments. Like, so you've got to see one and like celebrate it, just think it's funny and laugh at it. And then the universe will know that you can handle that, so they'll give you a little bit more. Can you handle this? Because all the positive comments, there will only be that many. So you're going to get more and more positive things as you adapt to be able to hold more projections and negativity and not let it like mean something about you. Another thing I've been doing since the breakup is using I am affirmations everywhere. So instead of thinking like, I want to achieve this goal, or like, that would be so cool if I could have that, just using like I am statements and putting it on the wall. I'm not going to tell you what my ones are, but like, I such and such, and like write it down and put it where you see it every day. For me, it's in front of my desk. I've got one next to the mirror. My success is inevitable, because it's true. Instead of thinking like, oh my God, I wonder if I will ever achieve my goals. What if I get to the end of my life and I've just embarrassed myself? My success is inevitable. So yeah, I am affirmations. Make yourself like as if you've already achieved it. You already are at that level. Next one is knowing my worth after a very long time. Why am I accepting breadcrumbs from someone who downgraded me and like only wants the best parts of me with no responsibility, isn't there through the bad times? No, you accept all of me or you can't have any of me. Creating a life you actually want, because this looks different for everyone. And for me, I've really noticed I like a bit of a slower life. Don't know if it's ADHD or because I spent so many years in hyperdrive survival mode, like extreme burnout to the point my body can't get up sometimes. Like sometimes I get so burnt out, I can't even go to the supermarket, and like it feels like my wrists are tied to the bed and I just need to rest. And then the following day, I'm like back to it, amazing. but I actually get to those points, and I think it's from just years and years. Like, I had 3 jobs from the moment I left school at 16. I started my degree at age 17, moved to the middle of the desert in another country at age 17 when I'd only ever seen my little town with no crime. Then I got to Alice Springs and they're like, oh yeah, the Aboriginals had killed people like right outside your house in this dried up river only a week ago. So like, don't walk outside at night. If like, yeah, you can be in danger there. So opened myself up to like, yeah, the real world at a very young age and had to support myself. I would do, yeah, probably 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. in the fine dining restaurant, and then I would go straight into the cocktail lounge after that. Then I'd have a half-hour break, and then I'd go work in the nightclub at the casino until 4 a.m. Then I would quickly cycle home in the dark and pray that nothing bad happens. You like cycle as fast as you can. Get dressed in my chef's uniform, and then I would cycle into town to do my breakfast shift job 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. Then I would bike home and sleep for a few hours, like 4 hours, get dressed, go back to work and do that again. That's like 4 different things in a night. And I did that when I was 17. And like, I've just been on my own since then, like building, like trying to take care of myself and like, yeah, back myself. I've realized that, yeah, I get very overwhelmed if I like need to be in a rush all the time. I hate like having all these jobs and coming back and unpacking. And I think it's my ADHD. I have like lots of clutter. I don't have like enough time in between things to like unpack and like sort it all out again. And I just like to be able to take my time in the morning. So I want to wake up, have my coffee, like eat my breakfast, like check my messages, talk to some people, pet my dog, and then like work on my business a bit, go to the gym, and then like go off to work in the afternoon or evening, and then not just only work and not do anything else outside of that. And I like to pursue my passions and things like that. So some people would think that is too slow, like, oh, what are you doing with your time? Like they might feel rushed, like stressed out by not having a lot of structure, but it depends on your personality. So actually like thinking about what makes me happy. Do I want to build a large corporation? Do I want to work for myself with no staff and have more time freedom? Is traveling important to me? Is being a good parent important to me? Like, what do you actually value in life that's not the influence from those around you? And the final part of this one is the rejection. So rejection is redirection. I have had very bad self-talk over the years. And when I came out of my first relationship, I wrote this in my ebook. When you look at me online, you would never think that I spoke to myself like that. But for months, years, I would walk around calling myself a piece of shit. Oh, you're such a piece of shit. You don't even know how to do anything. You're so useless. Look, it's just one basic thing. And I would like lose my socks because they were like hiding under the bed. Oh my God, yeah, you're such a useless piece of shit. Look, you can't even do one basic thing. You can't even find your socks. And I would say things like, oh, well, if I was good enough, then they wouldn't need to look elsewhere. Or if I was good enough, then none of this wouldn't happen. They wouldn't have just like kicked me to the curb to carry on life without me because they would want me in their life. Even with the jobs, that was really hard. Like getting rejected for 60 jobs, like, and then getting dumped because you can't get one. That was one of the reasons anyway, but that does something to your self-worth. You're like, well, why will no one hire me? Why aren't I good enough? Like, should I just give up and just like work at the gas station? Like, not saying that that is bad, but yeah, like, should I just give up basically? And when it comes to boys, I heard this lady say in a podcast, sometimes you'll like just wish that this boy would accept you, like, oh, if only they liked me, because then like the next person that I saw when I was like newly single rejected again. And I knew it was like probably a bad idea, but like getting rejected from the love of your life and then like, okay, I'm ready to move on after a decent amount of time of being rejected again. And like my self-worth was through the bottom of the earth. Like, crushed. And then, yeah, I just heard in this podcast, like, sometimes we'll be craving or just like wishing, oh, if only this boy would like me, if only he thought like, yeah, like if only he chose me or accepted me. And then you find out later, you're like, oh, actually, I'm really glad that that did not happen. So I love him, he's my friend. But yeah, it was just like a big learning lesson, and probably like essential for me to be broken even further so I could come back even stronger. But then, like, yeah, even when you look at your last partners, they're your ex for a reason. Like, I couldn't build a family with that person because when things get hard for a few months, who's to say they're not going to just like gap it again so they can like go off and make money and like leave you there like in struggle street. So I can't make a family with someone like that. And I think I learned a lot from my first relationship, even though I went back too many times. But I learned from that how dedicated I am. And we would always come back and be like, okay, well, what happened here, blah, blah, blah. And like trying to work through things. Not just like, oh, nah, just wiping your hands clean. Nah, I want something else. So sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. So feel all the feelings, cry as much as you need. I cried for 4.5 months for someone that was not crying, and they just like carried on. And then it made me cry even more, like, how can you not care? You're just fine. And then they're like, oh, well, do you want me to be sad? Like, sorry for being happy. And it's like, it just feels weird being the only one that is sad for like a lot. That's 4.5 months is a long time. That's like almost half a year. So it was over like the Christmas period, so it doesn't feel as bad, but you can do a lot of things in that time. I just spend it like being broken. So I've risen from the ashes. I've written this ebook with some of the deep things that I've learnt and dived into over the last few months, and I cannot wait for you to read it. So if you want to connect with me on my other channels as well for more like up-to-date daily stuff, I'll be posting on there, Cassie Amber Wellness on Instagram and TikTok. Otherwise, subscribe to the podcast or YouTube, and I'll do my best to keep up with weekly episodes, apart from obviously when I'm moving house. But there is so much in the works for this year. I feel so like more in alignment than I've ever been, and I can't wait to like show you the world and just empower you and be with you on this journey together, because we're going to make some big shit happen. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.